Theresa May that's found herself on the difficult side of the bargain. She has to once again sit back on the drawing table. She has to go back to the European Union as well to work out certain provisions, and it's a tough task ahead really, but I suppose she knew that when she took on the job of the Prime Minister during such a crucial period. But what exactly are we staring at when it comes to the Wall Street moves? Well, first up, slight gain. Yes, remember that we did have the Dow tanking significantly in the previous session, but just about yesterday, we had a 51-point rebound come by. Not exactly a rebound, but an attempt to claw back essentially. The S&P, however, slipped 0.2%, but the Nasdaq really underperformed and it was down by 0.8%. Mixed cues, I think I would say more or less in the red for cues. And for the Dow, the 30 stock index was mostly aided by Pfizer, which managed to really become the best performing stock in the index. For S&P, we had technology and communication sectors pulling down the index. In fact, those sectors were down by almost about 1%. But since it's technology, Nasdaq significantly underperformed. Like I said, down 0.8%. And yes, the all-important earnings, Apple's earnings are expected to be delivered. It's scheduled for release after close. And remember, this report is coming after iPhone had slashed its revenue guidance for the previous quarter earlier this month, citing weaker growth in China. So we had the Apple shares declining almost about 1% That in general, spooked sentiment for technology, and in turn the Nasdaq on account of that did decline significantly. So that's about Wall Street. We had Lockheed Martin rising about 1.5%. We had L3 Technologies shooting up more than 8%, because this week, remember, it's a very, very earnings heavy week. So that's going to be guiding Wall Street. And of course, most importantly, do remember Chinese Vice Premier Liu. He is set to meet US officials on Wednesday and Thursday. That's today and tomorrow. And market participants are fearing that the jolt to Huawei could undermine the chances of these two countries reaching a trade deal. So there's a lot of fear around that aspect of the market as well. European markets, like I already flagged off, and we already said in our in our headlines, the Brexit deal has been torn to pieces once again. This is Plan B, Theresa May's Plan B, which essentially was Plan A, that was torn to pieces by British MPs. So we have the FTSE still higher by 1.3%, DAX absolutely flat, and the French index higher by 0.8%. Stock 600 higher by 0.8%. Of course, this has got to do more with the fact that the FTSE did see some outperformance. But all in all, if we have to net see, still the cues from Europe was still more or less positive. SAP, by the way, very important company, most valuable tech firm from Europe, dipped into negative territory after the company released its latest earnings results. We had a 3% fall over there. Even Britain's Royal Mail tumbled to the bottom of the European benchmark. Brexit vote, that's going to be all that's going to be discussed. 2 months' time, now they're going to vote on whether they should extend this 2 months' time period. Finally, let's take a look at the Asian markets very quickly, see what are we staring at, the cues from there, ahead of course, the Vice Premier's visit to the United States. That should just come up for you on your screens in a bit. But remember that yesterday we did have a sluggish close come by on the Asian markets, and it looks like that seems to be continuing today, because we have the Nikkei losing almost about 0.6%. Take a look at the Kospi meantime, and what exactly is it doing at this juncture. That one too is down by about 0.2%. The Shanghai Composite as well is down by 0.25%, and the Hang Seng down by 0.4%. So not even a mixed start. It's, I think, down and out a day in the red. Okay, the Hang Seng's higher by 0.1%. Bit of a correction over there. But yeah, down and out. I think more or less the cues for the Indian equity markets more or less seem weak.
But moving on to the top global story, Mubina, that Theresa May bows to pressure from the UK lawmakers who demanded a renegotiation of a hard-fought Brexit deal. In a sharp reversal of the policy, the British Prime Minister agreed to return to Brussels and reopen the Brexit talks. In a series of votes, lawmakers rejected a no-deal Brexit and sought a renegotiation over the Northern Ireland backstop. Speaking immediately after the votes, May said that she would go back to the European Union, but admitted renegotiation with Brussels would be tough. The European Union, however, showed no signs of giving in to the UK, saying there was no chance of reopening the withdrawal agreement. Ireland, also a European Union member, does not want any change to the backstop deal either. At home, her political rival, Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn, bowed to the pressure and agreed to meet her to discuss a way forward. Theresa May has also said if she has not struck a new Brexit deal by Feb 13th, the Parliament would get to vote again.
Moving on, a crucial round of talks to begin today as the United States and China attempt to end their trade war. Vice Premier Liu He will meet U.S. Trade Representative Robert Lighthizer in Washington. And while a final deal is not expected this week, there's a good chance that negotiators will come up with a package of proposals to present to both presidents. Now, the round of talks will cover the United States' demands for structural changes to the way China does trade and even its economy, and Beijing's pledge to buy more American goods. In fact, President Donald Trump is also expected to meet China's top negotiator. However, expectations for big progress have been complicated amid the growing tensions around the Huawei controversy. U.S. Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin also said that if China presents enough trade concessions to Donald Trump, there is a chance that the administration may in fact lift all tariffs.
And U.S. government has upped its ante against Huawei. The Department of Justice filed a series of criminal charges against the Chinese tech giant's top executive Meng Wanzhou for misleading the global bank and U.S. authorities about its relationship with the armed Skycom Tech. The Justice Department alleged that the company used Skycom Tech to conduct business in Iran and violate sanctions. In a separate indictment, the company is also charged for stealing trade secrets from T-Mobile. However, in a statement, the company has denied the charges levied against them, and they are confident that the U.S. courts will also give them a clean chit.
And Apple Inc. meantime posted its first holiday quarter decline in revenue and profits in over a decade. Of course, they did flag off the slowdown in iPhone business and the weakness in China that has spilled into this year. Remember, the company has also faced legal challenges in China due to an ongoing battle with Qualcomm. Apple saw a sharp decline in iPhone revenue during the quarter, and the company's CEO Tim Cook says, and I quote, "Our customers are holding on to their older iPhones a bit longer than they did in the past," unquote.
The United States has imposed heavy sanctions on Venezuela's oil industry, looking to cut off President Nicolas Maduro's primary source of revenue. The United States imposed sanctions on the state-owned oil firm PDVSA. PDVSA said that it was considering declaring force majeure on cargoes bound to the United States. U.S. Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin said that the company could avoid sanctions by recognizing Mr. Guaido. The U.S. and more than 20 countries have recognized opposition leader Juan Guaido as the interim president.